Ow, this thing is painful regardless you loose or tight, man. Ah!
See? Hear the laughter? That's the pain. It's painful. But look, it's on there now, same pressure. There, see, finish, look, there. Ow! Time, tie up, breathe. Oi!
Feels relaxed. Good.
Alright, feels good? Relaxed?
Mm.
Very good. Alright, let's have a look at your legs. I used to get injured a lot as an athlete. When I was training before, first time, I used to get injured all the time. I was notoriously just always broken. Pulled muscles, torn muscles, strained muscles, completely out of balance, super tight shoulders. I've shown you guys a video of how tight my shoulders used to be. Super tight. But no one ever told me how to fix or that I even had a problem, so I just kept on going. So you get to a point beyond childhood where, alright, well now the issues have like really kicked in. So I used to go physio quite a bit, and I'd always pop one of my hamstrings. Both my hamstrings always go like one, then the next one. I just bounce back between left and right. So I've seen lots of physios for that, like tens and tens and tens of them, just for my hamstrings alone. No one ever decided to look at my back or what the relationship was between the timing of my glutes and hamstrings. No one checked it. So I keep on pulling both hamstrings. Then I got that sorted out only because I decided to get stronger. Not gym stronger and hamstring curls and that stuff, but like proper strong, real strong. And then I developed a condition called plantar fasciitis. And that is just, you know, you got the plantar fascia, which is the foot, the nerve that goes along the foot. It comes all the way from the sciatic nerve, from the hip, from the lower back down the hip. People say it's sciatic pain. I had that as a young, mid-20s kind of guy, sciatic problems. So again, I was like, couldn't do anything, couldn't run, couldn't jump, couldn't do anything that I was like, usually good at, couldn't lift no weights. And it sent me into my first depression, because I can't do what I love doing. I saw more physios. I saw so many physios for this thing, and none of them could figure out what was going on with my foot. They all told me basic stuff, plugged me into machines and walls and usual stuff they do. They all looked at my foot and they did some treatment on my foot, and yeah, momentary relief, but then when I walk away 10 minutes later, pain's back again. And then one of my friends introduced me to a man called Yoshi. This the Godfather, mate. This man's the Godfather. I was like completely, I'd given up. I was like, man, I'm finished. I'm gonna be living like this the rest of my life. I'm gonna finish everything now because I can't walk, can't do anything. I'm frigged up. Anyway, my friend said, man, you need to go see Yoshi, man. Yoshi is the best. I don't know why I didn't mention Yoshi before. Yoshi is just amazing. I said, whatever, man, no one can fix this. I'm finished. So we decided to go and see Yoshi. Yoshi lived far, man. Yoshi didn't even live in London. He lived in a place called Tunbridge Wells, and we take a trip out to go and see Yoshi. So I limp in and go and see Yoshi. I said, Yoshi, look, my foot hurts. He said, what's the problem? Like this, when I do this is the problem. He said, okay. And same setup as this, it's almost the same setup as this room. Put me down here. I mean, his bed was way, way, way low. He was a short guy. And he put me on the bed and he started working on my back, around about here. I'm like, Yoshi, my foot hurts. He started looking at my back. And every time I say Yoshi, my foot, he said, Yoshi, Yoshi, Yoshi. And then he would do everything that I'm doing, he was doing to me. What he was doing, he was finding the pockets of tension that had me out of alignment. And he was working those areas. And he also did acupuncture as well. So he did all the manual work first, and then to get deep into the root of it, he would take out these swords. They weren't swords, they were the big long ass acupuncture needle. They were like this long. Ooh. And he would show his, at this point he would click the thing and he would tap tap. And he would pull off the protective thing and he'd slowly, with his eyes shut, be pushing the needle in. I know this because I had it filmed one time. He's pushing the needle in. He's seeing the network in his head. Pushing it in, pushing it in. If he's taking a wrong turn, he knows before he's taking a wrong turn because you feel a little pinch. Then he'll come back slightly and go in again. And as he's got to the spot, before the spot happened, he would say, Yosh. And as you say Yosh, as he said Yosh, you go, ah! It was like a mini explosion. And it was painful as hell. It was so painful. But it lasted for like a few seconds. And he did this all along my back. And he said, all right, stand up. And I stood up and I'm checking the foot out. and the pain wasn't there. I mean, it was very dull. It wasn't like gone completely, but the pain was super dull. And I thought I was fixed. I was like, yeah, this is amazing. So went to training the next day, and he told me not to go there. So I went the next day, and I was moving, and then was like, you can move now. I said, yeah, man, I saw this guy. He's amazing. And I took one wrong step, like what you do. Certain times when you take the wrong step, it's in front of yourself instead of under yourself. I aggravated again, and it put me right back to zero. Man, I went back to depression, boy.
Did you go back to Yoshi?
No, I was planning to go back to Yoshi at the end of the week, but I need to do something in the interim. Then the same guy said to me, listen, you need to go and see this physio as well. I'm like, man, I'm sick and tired of physio, man. This physio, these guys are not, they don't know what they're doing. He said, no, this guy knows what he's doing, trust me. He gave me his details, and I went to go see him the next day. My friend told me, this is the reason why I agreed to see him. He said, no, this guy's different. I'm gonna give him a shout out. Paul O'Hara, he's the man here. You want to see a good physio? He's the one. Paul O'Hara, he's brilliant. Anyway, my friend said to me, listen, he's different. He knows, he's done sport before. He knows exactly what he's doing. I said, I'll give him a try, My friend recommended him. Plus he's done sport. I get it, I'll give him a try. Now with Paul, when I met Paul first time, he did his little physio thing, and he wrote down stuff on a piece of paper, and he goes, you know what, you don't need this. He threw the file to the side. He said, all right, look in the mirror. And I looked in the mirror, looked straight in front. He said, tell me what's wrong. I said, nothing. He goes, all right, take off his top. So I took my shirt off. And he said, look in the mirror. I said, what's wrong?
What was that when he put?
I was like, dude, there's nothing wrong with me. We keep asking me the same question. And he stood behind me, and he said, look at your belly button, look at your chest, and look where your nose is. I was like, oh my gosh. Dude, I was standing like this. I was so bent out of shape, and before this I'd seen probably close to like 20 physios. None of them had told me that. And then he was like, oh my days, I couldn't believe it. And he was like, alright, it's quite bad, I can see why you got pain in your foot, it makes sense. And he did, again, similar work to this, but he gave me more stretching work, and he works a lot on my hip flexors, a lot of my hip flexors. When I went back to Yoshi, in shape now, Paul's the one who gave me a lot of corrective exercises to do. So like balancing on my feet and making sure I know how to tuck my hips in, how I can get control here. So he taught me so much in regards to that. So when I went back to Yoshi now and he did the work through my back and my quad, gone, foot pain, finished, in the space of like 2 weeks. And I've been living with this thing for like 4 to 6 months. But then it made me realise, I was like, hold on a second, these guys are onto something because I've been injured my whole fucking life. So I spent a lot of time going to see Paul and a lot of time seeing Yoshi. I sent a lot of people like their way, and I would go with them and learn and just watch mostly what Paul was doing in terms of alignment, but Yoshi's work in terms of releasing tissue. I took people to him and I would watch him while I was taking notes. Yoshi saw me doing this as well, and he goes, yeah, he's smiling. I said, Yoshi, you gotta teach me. Yeah, you're learning already. And I spent like eight months with this guy, just learning. And this is how I put all this together, and I started treating people like big muscle people. And I started putting all this stuff together, and I could see like the difference between people that would do well and those that wouldn't. It was one simple thing: balance. If you got balance, you can train better for longer. There's no breakdown. You're doing well. But sometimes when you're training, everything's going well. There's a breakdown. But you could have stopped that, prevented it long before, if you got into the right spaces and taking care of the imbalance.